I'm John Denney, and welcome to the Harmony Exercise, here with my daughter Ali today.
I'm Ali Denney.
And we want to just have a little bit of a chat about the harmony and how we use it and how it's helped us in our life. And there was a few little topics that I've been thinking about that I thought might be nice to have a conversation with Ali about and go over a few different topics and see what we think about it. The harmony exercise has been part of your life really since the day you were born.
Yeah.
Or before. Because even
technically since I was in the womb.
That's right. And because Mom and I would do the meditation while she was pregnant, throughout the whole pregnancy and afterwards. And then as soon as you were born, we'd sit in our chairs as you was a little baby and we'd do it then. And so when's your first sort of conscious recollection of it? And how did it create sort of a foundation of hopefully emotional and mental stability in your life?
So the first memory I have of it is I remember laying on the bed because your bed was perpendicular to the chairs. So I was laying there looking at you guys, and I don't remember exactly what part it clicked, but I said, okay, this is what our family does. The first real memory, though, was you would have us hold hands at the end when we did the Lord's Prayer, and we did, what was the other prayer that we did?
Hannah's Prayer and prayer requests.
Yeah, and we did prayer requests. So that was because we weren't, we couldn't quite sit there for 15 minutes and not move around. So we would go in and out of your room. You would let us go in and out of the room while you were doing the harmony. So we would always be hearing it. And then the prayer requests at the end were really important. And I remember doing that almost every day. And then we started doing it before school. And it would make a huge difference in our day at school too, even when we were little, not realizing it then, but now.
When you connect the dots looking back. And
yeah.
So one of the things we did as a family is after we finished the harmony, we'd all hold hands. And if we'd yell to the kids, hey, come hold hands, they'd come right in, and we'd all hold hands and we'd say, okay, you have a prayer request. And sometimes it would just be for one of their friends or something at school or sometimes family, but we just go around the circle and then we'd say a little family prayer. And then do you remember we'd have a family hug? We'd have a family hug and fall onto the bed together.
Yeah.
And I really believe that that's one of the things that made our family special.
Yeah, absolutely. If we looking at our core family, and then even just looking at our own personal extended family, our core family is very different than all of my cousins and your brothers and sisters and mom's brothers and sisters. And they're close in their own ways, but a lot of the things that they've gone through in their lives, we haven't gone through, probably because of that strength and bond that we have from the harmony and from this, mindset that you've put us on of us all being on the same wavelength.
So this week, Mom and I were down in the Keys, right? And I was sitting on the porch, and I'm talking to one of my clients, actually Lexi, I'm talking to, and I'm looking out on the ocean, and Luke is giving a kiteboard lesson, and I look inside, and Mom's working with Matt, and you're in Orlando coaching a volleyball team, and I'm like, oh my God, all four of us are doing something we really want to do, and making a difference in people's lives. And then, but how did that happen? That had to be a cause. That had to be a manifestation of something. It wasn't luck.
No, nor did we know where it was going to go. But we had our intentions. We knew what we wanted to do, and we just let the universe take action. And, we took the actions that we needed to, or we take them daily. And, I need to get in front of volleyball teams. I need to say, hey, I'm a good volleyball coach. Hire me, and things like that. And you need to say, hey, I'm a sports performance coach. Let me help you. And Mom is designing hotels, and wants to make everything beautiful that she touches. And Luke wants to teach people.
You want to talk about self-confidence. Mom knows she's the best designer on the planet. She's
like,
I am so good at this, John. I'm like, I know you are.
It's so awesome.
And that's how I feel about you about coaching.
Yeah.
You are so good at coaching. And that's how I feel about Luke, about the the kite
coaching,
surfing.
his version of coaching.
Yeah, his version of coaching. Incredible, right?
Yeah.
So amazing.
And
amazing.
you're an amazing coach too.
Of course I know that. But honestly, I mean, to see each of us, pursuing our passion and our goal. And then, when we look at people, there's so many people around us which are not, and they get so deviated. They get so caught up in depression and anxiety or, what's going on the news, and they never find any peace, and I find our family, knock on wood, we've all found a sense of peace in us that way.
Yeah. Our own sort of inner peace. And like most things, it starts from an early age. You found it at 23 when you met Carroll. Mm-hmm. Mom found it when she learned the harmony with you. And Luke and I were born into it. So maybe our path to it has been, easier, but we still had to find it in our own ways too, because you have to grow and live in this world and be your own version.
One thing about Mom, when she found it, and then about a week later, she knew it by heart. And I was like, I don't know if that's the first time she's done this. It's almost like she was remembering it from a different time. It's like she already knew it somewhere. And I felt kind of like I was like that too. I learned it really quickly. And I was like, this is kind of almost like a memory more than a new thing. So how has the harmony helped you in your relationships with people and accepting people for how they are, not trying to change them and things like that?
Yeah, you have to understand. Like I've had to understand that people have their own relationships with their I am, or for some people it's God. And it is hard to find people that you can open up to about this, because in a way you don't want people to think that some people get touchy when it's faith, quote unquote, they don't necessarily want to get into that. Other people are like, yeah, this is so great. They go a little bit into the Buddhist and the sayings, and then the ones that they don't really understand, but they are like, you need to do it like this, and then the yogis and stuff. So there's different levels of it, but it's also like so simple. Mm-hmm. So, and then the one that just makes me so like, I crack up at people about this, because people say, I am so pissed. And I'm like, that sucks for you, because you're claiming that and you really want to be that way today, And they just don't realize that I am statement, the universe is just giving them what they're asking for.
Well, we're always creating. We're never observing. And it's very difficult to understand that, because if I want to tell you, I'm depressed, I'm angry. But yet as soon as I tell you that, I'm creating more of it within myself. Mm-hmm. And that's a very dangerous situation. So, that's what when I look at what you and Luke are doing and the ways you deal in your relationships right now, I think a lot of it comes from that ability to see the best in people, universal harmony in each situation. And, I think that's been one of the reasons we've manifested what we have right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So the other thing I really want to talk about is what we've seen when you bring meditation into a team. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you have incredible experience with now is one team. Actually, you played on 2 college teams. So she played for the University of South Carolina Gamecocks for 2 years, and you played for the FIU Panthers for 2 years. Mm-hmm. You made the national championship twice, and you missed the national championship twice. And, if you look at the skill levels and everything, all of those teams, certainly the team that didn't make it had the skill to do it. But so how did you see the 2 teams differ? The one where you meditated a couple times a week. Actually, tell us about that. The first team, you meditated twice a week, or what was it? Yeah,
the first team, we actually meditated. We would practice 5 days a week, and we meditated 4 to 5 days a week, every day. We did. Some people didn't love it. Some people liked it. We did Headspace, And then I told you about it, and then we started doing the harmony. And everybody loved the harmony. The days that we did the harmony, the practices were like so fun. Everybody was getting along. It was so awesome. And then the days we did headspace, there was differences, but some people ended up falling asleep, because we were laying on the ground or working on our tans while we were supposed to be meditating, when it was.
That's okay.
And so but it was very, that team, we bonded. We were always doing something together. And I think the meditation was a part of that. Like the team always wanted to be together. Now, the second team I was a part of, we didn't meditate, and it was a lot more cliquey and it was a lot more individualized. Right. The team chemistry, like it wasn't the same. We weren't one team. It was like, okay, we have the starters, we have the non-starters, and then between the starters, we have these group of people and this group of people. And so that was difficult. And that team, it was not okay. It was not the University of South Carolina competing. It was FIU 1s or FIU 3s, and it was more individualized. That was the better way to put it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the things about meditation. If you bring a team together, all thinking the same thoughts at the same time, there's a magic that happens. You become a mastermind, so to speak, right? Where a lot of times so what I saw with these two teams, and I was really, that was sort of one of the highlights of my last few years, was being able to record the harmony exercise and send it up there to you guys on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. And I think over the 2 years, I recorded 40 harmony exercises for that team. And we'll show you a picture of that team they all have the harmony exercise shirt on. And, that team had a lot of skill, but really not the skill that the FIU team did, Nor
the experience. I mean, there was a lot of us. The South Carolina team was very young and technically less experienced.
And you made the national championship in extremely exciting fashion both times. Like hearing it on the TV on the Saturday night, the last pick, and South Carolina comes in, incredible. Then the next 2 years as a junior and a senior at FIU, we had All-Americans on the team. We had incredible skill, but we did not seem to have that magic of that togetherness. Mm-hmm. And I really believe it's because that team did not make meditation a part of their program. Now, the greatest team on the East Coast, FSU, daily meditators?
I think so.
Right.
I think they do a meditation.
So you can be very skilled physically. You can have a very strong mental game. But there's something about this spiritual love of the game that when you bring that into the equation, it's where the magic happens. So,
well, you look at Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson.
Okay, so I had you. What was the book that you read this year? So
11 Rings.
Ali has taken up. Ali has really found her love of coaching this year. She and I coached the Marjorie Stone. Well, she coached, and I was the assistant coach.
No, you coached too.
Of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas boys volleyball team, and we took them and won the district championship. And it was so exciting, teaching them heart math and the G7 warm-up, bringing them together in this oneness. And now it's just a magic team. And then now she's doing the same thing with this travel team. But we see this piece, which is undeniable. And then I used to talk about it in other ones. And then you see these other teams, which are more individualized, just 6 girls playing volleyball. So how do we get the magic in the teams?
It starts with the meditation and getting everybody in the same mindset, setting a goal, setting an intention, and then adding that spiritual side.
So what did Phil Jackson say was the key in 11 Rings to making teams great?
Love.
Right. And the one thing is, with an NBA basketball team, they're not going to all like each other. Mm-hmm. You got a bunch of different personalities, a bunch of big egos. So it's not about liking each other so much, but it's about loving each other.
Yeah.
And you can love someone you don't like.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I had a few people like that around me where, I love you. I don't really like you, but I love you. And I was able to, send them harmony, make the best of the relationship that I was meant to have with that person.
One thing I've also learned about the harmony has helped me. It takes two people to fight. Mm-hmm. It takes two people to have an argument. If you want to fight with me, I have to
fight back.
Right. I have to fight back. And if I don't fight back, you have no one to fight against. And when you become really, really convicted, when you know your belief and you're sure of yourself and confident in yourself, you never have to fight with anyone. You know what Carroll used to tell me?
No.
He goes, I have the fastest running shoes in town. Agree with thine enemy and then get the hell out of there. And so, another one I love is, would you rather be happy or right?
I'd rather be happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, let people believe what they want to believe.
It doesn't matter. And they're going to believe it anyway.
Yeah. I'm not going to spend all day trying to convince you that my way is the right way.
Exactly.
For me, it is. And it could be for you too. Mm-hmm. But if it's not right now, then why waste the time?
Well, that's been one of my, my big things with the harmony and trying to convince people to try it. It's really hard. You can't. Until they start looking at you, And as I've transformed over the last 4 years, and I've done multiple master cleanses, multiple harmonies, and people now they're looking at it like, you're doing something.
Yeah.
And I want a little bit of that. And then people start listening. Because if we're not an example of what we're preaching, we're just preaching. And it's a bunch of crap, right?
Yeah.
So, it's our BS. You know what BS stands for, Al?
No.
What?
Bullshit?
No.
What?
Belief system.
Belief system. I knew that. I knew that.
It's your BS. Don't give me your BS.
I don't want none of your BS.
Right. Until you look at somebody like, wait a second, they seem to have a belief system which is working for them. They seem to be at peace more than other people. They seem to be happier than other people. They seem to be more joyful than other people. Right?
Yeah.
So then you start paying attention. Well, what are they doing? That's why I'm here. Yeah. I met Carroll and I'm like, how can that guy be so happy? He looks like he's dead. He's 85 years old. He's, can like hobbling on. I'm like, he's the oldest person I've ever met, older than all my grandparents. But he's the happiest person I've ever met. I'm like, well, I want some of that.
Right.
I was like, I don't care what it is. And so he's like, well, this is how you do it. You learn how to think. And he goes, and basically the harmony exercise is the CrossFit of thought. Yeah. So you remember your first memories of the harmony. We did it as a family. And then, as we've all heard your story of overcoming your trials and tribulations at college, but how have you found meditation help you as an adult, as a now you're a 23-year-old woman?
Yeah, I've just finished grad school. I'm going into life now. I'm entering that next chapter. And I was just explaining to you that it's easy to let that state of unsureness and like uncomfortable because I don't know what the next step is. I have my plans and the jobs and stuff, but I'm like, that's not quite it. That's not quite all of it. And I know through my experience now that the harmony is how we're basically sticking to my daily practice of adding a cubit and just getting into that state of flow and rhythm is my way of dealing with that unsure feeling, and not even dealing with it, but just replacing it with the positive thoughts and the affirmations. And it's so easy. You know, I have a friend who she's in the same boat as me. We just finished school together and she is freaking out. She's got no clue. She's like, I need to go to school to become a doctor so I can make a lot of money so I can support myself and I can do this and this and this and this. I'm like, whoa. I'm done with school. I'm ready to just go coach in volleyball, live on the beach. And
well, so here's the problem. She believes exactly what most people have been programmed and indoctrinated to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I need to go to college, get a job, become a doctor, get married, have kids, get a dog and a house, and I'll be happy.
Yep.
And guess what? Happiness never comes. It's this pursuit of something that's going to make me happy.
Yeah.
The money, the house, the marriage, the relationship, the job, whatever. Well, what I've learned is happiness is what has to come first. When we're already happy, all those things are just, they add on. So yeah, I'm happy and I have a nice job. I'm happy I got married. I'm happy as a kid. You know, we talk about this a lot, but mom and I never came together to complete each other. We were complete when we came together. And that's why we're married almost 30 years now, because we're two individuals. You know, relationships work on multiplication. So if you have two people come together, not addition. So two whole people come together, 1 times 1 is 1. You have a great relationship. If you have one half person and you want to complete me, now you got a quarter, because a half times a half is a quarter. So the relationship's even less powerful than each of you.
Right.
You know, so
right.
Sick people make people sicker, you know, and it's so important that each of us as an individual. And that's why, like I said, the picture of our family the other day, you being the coach, me being the coach, mom being the decorator, Luke being the instructor. Coach. Incredible.
Yeah.
Just couldn't be happier about that.
That is a really cool thing to look at. And it's special. It's rare. Not everybody gets to do what they want to be doing.
And another thing the Harmony does too is really, like you just said, we don't always have to know the how. So you get, and it happens to so many people, but you're going to get your diploma. And what's next? Well, you want to be happy, connected. You want to be in the volleyball world. You want to have a great group of people. You want to make money. And we know all those things, but we don't really have to worry about how it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. We just keep turning it over. And then you get the next phone call. And then where are you going next week?
To Kansas City.
Kansas City to coach in the national championships.
Yep.
Okay, so from never coaching a bit to head coach at Parkman Stoneman Douglas High School and winning the district championship, and now going to the national championships with the travel team.
Yeah.
And you're not even out of college yet.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible, I think, but it's not chance. It's cause and effect. The problem is it's not easy. But you know, a lot of meditations are boring as hell. The Harmony exercise, to me, it isn't. It keeps you moving. It keeps you engaged. What did you used to call it?
Active meditation.
You know, when you said that a lot of my teammates would fall asleep, that's almost a great thing, because it's so hard for people to fall asleep because they're so wound up nowadays. They can't even fall asleep. You know, they said people used to... Carroll said, the minister, when people fell asleep in church, he wouldn't worry about it. He said that most of them listen better when they're sleeping than they do when they're awake anyway.
It's probably true.
It's probably true. So, theharmonyexercise.com. And, you know, Ali's been a guest on it, and she's actually learning how to lead it now. The only way to know if this meditation is going to help you is if you give it a try.
Go to theharmonyexercise.com and try the meditation. It's free, it's immediate change, and it's a renewal of the mind, and it'll change your life.